Special have a problem with authority. Somehow the rules do not apply to you. You believe that you are special have a problem with authority. Somehow the rules do not apply to you. You believe that you are special have a problem with authority. Somehow the rules do not apply to you.
And now, on the same night that we went out, I somehow grew a beard, got back to the studio, and kidnapped the very tired and exhausted crew that runs Tonic. Welcome, 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 guys. Thank you so much for coming in.
Hello. Hello, Reese. Hello, Jenny. Hello, fine folk who I've seen so much this evening already. We've had a fantastic event. I'm Chris. I am the creative director person of Tonic. I'm also a poet and musician in my own right.
I am Terence Spalding-Jenkin. I am a writer, performer, host of Tonic, co-runner. I'm the person who's been with the team longest out of the current remaining members.
Bit of a flex, but okay.
Hi, I'm Cal Wensley. I've been with Tonic the shortest amount of time and have been hired to be a stage goblin. I get in front of the mic, I don't plan what's going to be said, and it shows. Gonna keep that energy up the whole way through this interview.
Finally, we have the phenomenal headliner, which was Tom.
I'm a musician. I write some of my own stuff. I write stuff with a group called Wildcat Boozy, and I do various performances of those songs.
Chris, I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about how Tonic started and what's the idea behind it.
I was a huge fan of the open mic event at the Arts House, which was every Friday, and it ran for years, and it was, loved it. It was always such a variety. And it was kind of my route into the poetry scene, which I wanted to kind of give back to. And I've been going to lots of events as well, other than that. And I kind of saw what I really liked about certain events, the art that was made, and some stuff which I thought could be done better, like the kind of conversations that we have around art, getting new people in. But yeah, so I was really glad about kind of getting the writing prompts thing in, and then I thought, how do we get more audience interaction? And so it became audience written prompts. So we got pens. Most of the time those get returned to us. And everyone gets a piece of card or a piece of paper, and then they write down anything. It could be a line from a poem that they like, it could be a quote from a movie, it could be something they overheard on the bus, it could be something they thought about at 4 a.m. when they woke up from a fever dream. It could be anything that they want. It could be something they wish they said to someone. And those then get handed in, and people sign up, get a prompt. So yeah, so that's kind of the function of how all that worked to begin with. And then we're also always kind of like trying to get more. We always want to add to what we do, and so that's when we had the Q&A came in. So we get the scratch performers to actually go up on stage and talk about their craft, talk about why they did what they did, talk about who inspires them, all that sort of stuff. And then we realised also, all the scratch performers get to have their say, but what about the headliners? And so that's when we started doing the Insta-views, as we called them, and that's where we sit down with the headliner, and they give us loads of information about their inspiration and all that stuff. And then the final thing we added more recently was the halftime prompts.
Right.
Which were, that's been really well received.
So I was wondering, and I'm going to kind of go to Cal as well after with this, but what is it, Taryn, that made you want to join Tonic initially?
Chris and Claire Guest, who were running Tonic at the time. And a little while after that event, they were like, "Yo, Taryn, would you like to be part of Tonic?" I was like, part of me was like, actually no, because I want to do the scratch. The scratch is like this really cool thing that doesn't happen anywhere else.
I never knew that before. So you got kind of recruited into Tonic? Oh, okay, that's really interesting.
I got headhunted.
I used to host a night in North Bristol called Craft Words, which was I'd hosted other events before, but this was an event that I ran on my own. It was a monthly open mic with headliner, standard open mic stuff. Hadn't run that since pre-pandemic. Didn't want to run an event on my own, but I did miss hosting events. The first Tonic, after Chris had asked me to be part of the team, I didn't actually get involved in the night as such. It was more of a go along, see how the night runs, which is a bit odd because I'd been to a lot of Tonics. I know how the night runs. I think it was more just me going, oh God, I've not hosted anything in a year and a half. Let me just see what the vibe is. Oh, okay, cool. We shout as soon as the show starts. I'm in, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary, welcome to Tonic!
The thing about like inviting you along at that time was so that you could experience it with the different context of like you picturing yourself on stage doing the hosting stuff. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we wanted to have you along, because we had a discussion about it beforehand, is that you are such a great host. I loved going to your events at Property Camp, and we'd always kind of bring a group of people up from the Sunday writing group all the way up to, so yeah, it was a wonderful way to end the week.
It's time for Guess Those Influences. Watching Tom, I made notes live. I did. I have them here.
Sweet.
And I made them into a little bit of a story. And in the story, there's going to be the names of a couple bands. And what we're going to do, I'm going to bring that GoPro, which is on us right now. I'm going to get it nice and close to you, and we're going to get your natural reaction. And I want you to see if you can acknowledge or disacknowledge with your facial expressions how right I am about whether you know these bands. That's it, yeah. Whether they are influences or whether they are completely off the mark, and then you're going to tell me how wrong I was at the end.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely going to be very, very wrong. I went to Tonic. I met Sonic. I joke, I added that. Just I arrive at the show. You started out in my head as better Frank Turner. Ended the show as better Frank Carter and his rattlesnakes. We try not to laugh for a second. I sipped down a refreshing mint tea of Green Day to wash down the chocolate gâteau of Blink-182. There were points where it was like Sleaford Mods picked up a guitar and paid homage to The Clash. It was a magical performance, almost as if a spell was cast by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Frank Turner.
Yeah, definitely for sure, big time.
Frank Carter.
Not so much. Didn't. Some of his stuff is fun, but not so much for fans.
Green Day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't lie. As much as I absolutely despise their new stuff, goodness me, 16-year-old Tom was sculpted by that band entirely.
Blink-182.
Yeah, I mean, they come as a pairing, don't they? Particularly
when you left, you know what I said?
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm so sorry.
Did you mean to do that?
Yeah.
Sleaford Mods.
I would prefer Idols of the two. I mean, I know Sleaford Mods and Idols sometimes come to heads.
You wouldn't believe, I almost put Idols there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The last two were The Clash.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Green Day kind of like an offshoot of The Clash as far as I'm concerned anyway, so like, I would definitely take those influences.
I'll say that, yeah. And finally, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
We love a bit of Gears. We do. Yeah, no, fantastic. Yeah. I probably didn't listen to them for my EP, but the second half of my set was all Boozy songs anyway. So Wildcat Boozy, our single Snake Bite Stomach, is available on Spotify and on Callum's Face.
It sure is.
But yeah, so I definitely, that he would have been, King Gears would have been a bit more of an influence on Boozy stuff rather than EP stuff, but still in my set, so correct.
And that surprisingly didn't go too badly.
Yeah, pretty close.
Thank you everyone for attending Guess Those Influences. So we're coming up to our last couple of questions now. I think what would be really interesting to hear from everyone kind of on the Tonic team would be, where's Tonic going? What could the future look like? And basically, where would you like to see the entire kind of movement of Tonic head?
A large-scale plan is I'd like us to sell out Bristol Beacon with a showcase of every scratch performer who has ever performed at Tonic, and it will continue to run on with every new scratch performer that we have. Once you sign up for our scratch, you can't go home. You have to go to Bristol Beacon and continue to perform over and over and over and over until I have a new plan. That might be the Exchange basement supporting Wildcat Boozy.
You finish your set and you're like, right, cheers, report to the Beacon.
There we go. Report to the Beacon. That's Tonic.
I mean, that's a great answer. Taryn, how about you?
So one thing that is really important that I'm working on for Tonic is bringing back a digital aspect, because during the pandemic we were running everything through Zoom. We were doing online events, which were great in some ways and bad in other ways. They were a huge tax on the team, but they were allowing us to get people from anywhere to join in with Tonic, and that was something that was really important. You know, whether that was because they lived somewhere where they couldn't possibly have come to Bristol, or whether they had access needs that couldn't have let them come to any specific venue. So trying to figure out a way to incorporate a live aspect, a live show of some kind that feels like Tonic but in the digital space.
I think those are the main things. I think the other thing to say would be, I love doing our day out events. We do day out events January and August, and we partnered up with some amazing groups before, over lockdown, even working with SS Great Britain, who were fantastic. Bruno's SS Great Britain, they're brilliant online resource, as well as being in the real world resource. They have a digital virtual tour, which was exceptional for giving a sort of writing inspiration. So I'd like to work with some more sort of local organisations, preferably sort of heritage or historical groups. Just because I think we all live in this city, but I think we don't do enough of being tourists in our own city.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming in, guys. And to finish off, is there anything you'd like to plug? Any events coming up? Anything like that?
I actually have a thing to plug that is my own, that I have released. I recently released a Shanty for Cornish Youth, which is a poetic documentary of Cornish identity and young people moving away from Cornwall, and you can get that on Bandcamp if you go to The Cornish Writer. And that's poetry, there's a bit of music, there's a bit of interview, there's a mixture of stuff.
Tom, tell us about Boozy and about D&D.
I'll tell you about Boozy and about D&D. Hi everyone, I've talked about Boozy to death, but follow Wildcat Boozy on all of your various social medias, listen to us on all of your various ears, and Cal and I, every week, we stream Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're into Dungeons and Dragons, we stream that every week on twitch.tv/heroesgrove. It's great fun. We've just started a brand new campaign called Elseworld, in which Cal plays an elephant and I play a man made of soil. So tune into that whenever you can. I think that's pretty much it. Cheers.
Stay classy and stuff.